So today we're going to install our Tru-Tone lights on the house. We're going to do a red and white alternating around the top and a red and white alternating around the garage. We'll put some blue lights in the trees and we'll put some green lights around the bushes, and then we'll add some around the windows, hopefully by the time we are done. So let me show you real quick what we're going to add, and then we'll get started on the garage. I have wires all along the ground, but here's what we're going to need to use today. I have C9 sockets. These are all custom spools that I've made over the last couple years. I have white for the gutters, and I have green that I put around the bottom. Hopefully I labeled these well enough so that I can find where they go. We're going to use some blue Jeweltone. These are going to go in the tree. We have some green Jeweltone that are going to go in the bushes. These are the red Classicolor we're going to put around the roof. Some more green for the bushes, some white candle glow that will go around the bottom, and then red and white Jeweltone and Classicolor that will go around the roof and the garage. We're going to use Tuff clips to connect the lights around the gutters and the roof, and we're going to use rubber gaskets to put around the bottoms of the bulbs. I find these that they are almost a must-have. The first year I didn't use them and some of my bulbs corroded on the bottom. I know they say they don't, but they definitely did. And so I'm going to actually go through them and see how many don't work. I know some don't work, so I'll show you at the end. We're going to use an automatic timer, a hot glue gun to connect it to the brick, some stakes that for the pieces that go into the ground, and white electrical tape, because sometimes if these break, I put the white electrical tape around it when I take them off. The benefit of these is they're fully customizable, and so I just have to use that to fix some mistakes. So now let's get started at the garage, and we're going to use red and white Jeweltone. All right, we're gonna start here real quickly at the garage, and I'm gonna show you what I've done. I've custom made all of these cables so they're the perfect length around the garage, and I'm going to start at this end, and this is going to plug into one of the big trees that I made on the front of my house. And I have it set up where my LED lights only run till about 10 o'clock, and the Tru-Tone will run all night long. I like the way the Tru-Tone bulbs look, so I let them run all night long, and because they're LED, I don't have to worry too much about them. But this is what I've done. I have these cables, and I cut them, and I add a male end at one end and a female end at the other. And to put them around the garage, it's really easy. I just use these clips and clip it around the side. So what we're gonna do is we're going to clip it all around, and then we're gonna put in some light bulbs. I already have twinkly lights around the garage, so hopefully it'll fit, but I'll just show you. You just take this, and you'll just slip it right behind here. See if I can do it with one hand, and it will go right on there, nice and tight, and then the bulb will be right here. With the Jeweltone look against the white, it looks pretty nice. So let's put this up real quick. Theme this year in my neighborhood is red and white. So I'm going to outline my house in these red and white Tru-Tone bulbs. The garage and the lights that are lower to the ground, I'm going to use these Jeweltone. I really like these. Some of these are older, but I can show you on the bottom what happened when I did not add the rubber gaskets. They corroded. So these are Tru-Tone. They're supposed to have a vintage look. If you see, you can see through here. There's little elements in there. It's really good. I really like them. But I found you have to use these little rubber gaskets to put on the bulb, and that would stop the water from coming in before I screw it in. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use 2 Tru-Tone Jeweltone red and 1 candle glow white for my pattern around the garage. And then I have some incandescent bulbs that are Twinkle, and I'll add those to the garage because Tru-Tone does not make a Twinkle bulb. So I have some Twinkle bulbs that I'll add to give it a little bit of movement. But now I'm going to put all these rubber gaskets on, and we're going to put them on the garage. So I have my red and white Tru-Tone, and let me show you real quick what I'm going to be doing around the rest of the house with these rubber gaskets. I put my gasket on right here, and that creates a watertight seal, and that'll protect the bottom of my bulb so it won't go bad. And then I just screw it on just like that. So all of my bulbs are going to have a bulb right here, a rubber gasket, and then the socket, and that will protect it. So I almost think you have to do this if you're using any sort of outside bulb. It wasn't just the Tru-Tone that went bad on the bottom. Even my Incandescent and my other brands went bad on the bottom. And so because Tru-Tone are such an investment, I want to make sure that they don't go bad. So here I am trying to keep them all nice like this. So I think some of them that went bad were because it's just not getting a connection anymore, and maybe I can come back and fix that later. But let's put this garage on and then we'll move to the next part. All right, we have red and white Jeweltone all the way around the garage. These are twinkly lights that are app controlled, but all of these are LED lights, so we're not going to use much power. One of the reasons I have them plugged in over on this side is because they're going to connect to this tree, which comes from this power cord down here. So I'll put some lights around the bottom, run a cord here, and then this will go around. But that way I'm using 3 different circuits on my house to power the lights. I know they're LED, but I'm gonna add some incandescent twinkle, so I'm trying to have the least amount of power on each circuit. And now that the garage is completely done, I have come and added some incandescent twinkle bulbs next to my LED bulbs. So these bulbs will twinkle, these bulbs stay the same. I added about 4 or 5 of them around the garage. There's another one up here. They don't start twinkling until they warm up, but here is an LED bulb and there is an incandescent twinkle bulb, and as you can see, they twinkle. It just adds a little bit of movement around the garage. I really like the way it looks, and you can't tell at all when you put them next to the Tru-Tone bulbs, so they look really good. Oh, here's another one starting to twinkle right over here. As the bulb filament warms up, it churns off the bulb, and then when it cools down, it turns back on. And that's how they work. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to use some red and white Classicolor around the gutter, come down here, around the gutter, around the front of their house, and around the side. So I got a little help this year. The boys are helping me put in 3 Classicolor red and then 1 Classicolor white, and that's we're going to put around the top of the house. And they're putting the rubber gaskets on, so I'm going to come help them. And hopefully we can get these lights on, then we'll go grab the wife and start climbing on the roof. So these right here are the lights that are going to be on the gutter of the roof, and I have a mixture of incandescent twinkle and Tru-Tone LED. So we're going to check real quick, see if it'll show. We're maxing out about 37, 43, 44. So we're not using much energy at all for just the gutters, but we're still going to do around the rest of the house. We'll check this at the end. And the amperage right now is 0.4, so not even that much either. So we've got plenty of room to add more bulbs. It's not going to be all one length. So we have, this is the short length, and then the other part will be one length, and we'll check that when we're done. And here's a reminder that these Tru-Tone bulbs are glass. So I broke this one when I was stretching it out, but there's the inside of the bulb, but I did break it. So another one down the dust. It's not plugged in right now, but we're gonna have to take these out and put in a new one. We also have a socket that is broken, so let me go show you how to fix that. Sometimes you just have to do a little bit of maintenance. Right here we have a socket that's broken. And what we're going to do is we're going to replace it. So I have replacement sockets right here, not a big deal. We have a bottom and a top, and they just clamp right on. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna take off this broken one. There we go, we're just gonna take it off. And what it does is it left 2 little holes right there, but that's not a huge deal. See, all it does is poke in. All right, now we have the piece off and we have our new piece right here. We have the rib side, which is the neutral side, and the neutral side we want to be the side of the clip so that if you stick your finger in there, you're not touching the hot side, or at least a little bit harder to touch the hot side. And you're going to put it in, and I can match up the old holes, but oopsies, it was twisted. Put it right there. So we're going to push it in, and then you put the clip on, and it just makes a compression fitting. And you can push it in there, which gets a little bit tough, or we have this wrench that closes flat. And any wrench will do, but the flat closing ones just makes it easier. And you put it in there, and we're just going to press it down tight like that, and it's locked in. So now the power's in, we're all set. We take one of our twinkle bulbs that we're gonna go right here, and we plug it in, and it lights right up, and you're good to go. There's no open sides around the edge. Everything's in there nice and tight, nice and snug. We've got the rubber piece so the water doesn't get in, and we're all set, and it's twinkling. Now that this is all fixed, this is the wire that's going to go on the front of the house. So let's go put it up. So this says to the roof. I did remember to label at least some of my cables. This was the custom extension cable that I made. It has 2 female ends. One, I will plug in my lights that go along this gutter to here. The other one will have another extension cable that goes up to there, so there'll be no lights here. And then I will plug in a set of Christmas lights across the top. And this just goes down to a timer that turns on the lights when it's ready. So here I have the Tuff clips, and they just clip right on, and I put all of the lights exactly where I need them. They're pointing out nice and straight. I actually forgot one, so I have to go put that on there. But all set, and now we're going to work our way around the gutters and around the roof. Right here is what I use the white electrical tape for. There actually were 3 light bulbs in these spots, and I've removed them so that I have no bulbs up here. I'll show you why that is. This tape is getting a little bit old from last year, so I'm just going to re-tape a bit around it because there's little tiny holes where the power was. Some people don't tape it. I just do to be a little bit extra safe, and I use white just so it looks the same. Obviously, it doesn't have to be white, but there. So I removed a socket right here. There's an inline female right here, and I'll show you what that's for. But let me tape these up, and then when I get to the top, I'll show you why I removed 3 sockets. All right, I made it to the top of the roof, and I have this side that comes down right here, and this is why I cut out some of these bulbs sockets right here. There were 3, and I got rid of them, so that this is kind of just empty right now. I don't have any of those ridge clips that go on top. And then I'm now working on putting lights down the side right here, and I have this female end right here that I'll plug in a strand that's gonna go down that side. So I gotta finish this side, then we'll come back and go down that side. But this is how these Tuff clips connect to the shingles. So there's always the debate to do it across the top, which usually I'm a fan of, but because I'm on the side of my house, no one's gonna see it, and I didn't really want to mess with it too much. It kind of worked out, but sometimes you put the light at the peak, but I didn't on the side because this isn't the front of the house, it's just kind of the side. But there we go. Here, I'll fix this one that came off right here. See, just push it in right there. Simple, nothing to it. So we made it from the top all the way to the bottom. We have a little gutter right here. I'll just show you from the top. Clips right in, really simple, just like that. And then you are all done. Of course, I forgot a clip for this last one, so I have to go get a clip. And next we have this brick window, and I'm going to use C7 red and white Classicolor bulbs. We're going to do red, red, white, red, red, white. And for brick, I like to use a hot glue gun. Very simple. You just glue it in right here, and it goes all the way around. And as you can see, I've done glue every year. There's a little bit of glue left here from last year. I could probably pick that off right now if I really wanted to. It doesn't stay, hasn't had any issues. See, came right off, just like that. So there's been glue all the way around, and I haven't had any issues. I'm just using Stanley glue, nothing too crazy. But now I'm gonna glue it, and this window will be done. So I just put a little bit of glue right here on the bottom, stick it on, and hold it there for a minute. These are all completely custom made cords I'm using. So everything, as long as I remember to use the right cord, fits exactly around the window every year. So this year's going a little bit quicker than last year. And as you see, this one still has some glue on it. There you go, came off, there's nothing even left. I will glue on some more and hold it here and work our way around. So I finished, and I've kind of got one extra bulb right here. Must have done it a little bit different. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you real quick how when you make your own wires, you can fix this. So I could put one right here, but then these will just be close and it'll look not symmetrical to me. So these are not plugged in, by the way, unplugged. But I'm going to cut it right here where I want it. And on the end, I have a male plug, and I'm going to take this off. So if you look at your wire, this is SPT1. I'm going to just give it a little split right here. There's a ribbed side that's right on this side, and there's a smooth side. The ribbed side is going to go onto the side that's larger. So I'm going to look on here, the pointy piece is right there, the ribbed side is right there, and you're just going to put it in, twist it just like that, and kind of like with that bulb earlier, we're just going to slide it on, and it'll make a compression fitting. And there we go. Sometimes I take this tool that I have right here, and I can push it tight just like that, and there's the end. You're all set. So now it looks better, everything's symmetrical. And here's the last bulb we're going to install. I have our red and white Tru-Tone, and I have custom wires hot glued to this brick so it's not going anywhere. But as you can see, my bulbs from last year, some of them are completely corroded, and I have found the best way to stop corrosion is by putting these rubber gaskets around the bottom of the bulb. I just picked these up off of Amazon, and as you can see, when I screw this in to the bulb holder right there, it creates a watertight protection, so the water's not going to get in there, keeps it dry, and it doesn't get this corrosion. So I found that's the best way to stop corrosion. Well, we're about 10 days later, and I ended up running out of bulbs. I ordered some bulbs, and I wasn't paying attention, and I ordered 3 5-packs instead of 3 25-packs. So I needed about 75 bulbs, and I only ordered 20. So, or 15, I guess, something like that. So I was definitely short, so I had to do another order. So if you've made it this long in the video, thank you. Maybe I'll make a few pennies because these get really expensive. So I ordered a bunch of white and some more red. So real quick, let's take these out and see what we have. We have a Tru-Tone sticker, like always, well packed. And we've got just normal white. These are gonna go around the windows. These are the Classicolor white. We have Classicolor red. This will also go around the windows. Or these are Jeweltone red. These will go around the bottom. I didn't have enough to finish the bottom around the house, so that's what those are for. And these are Candle Glow. These are the clear. These will also go around the bottom of the house. We'll finish those up. And we have Jeweltone red and Classicolor red. So we'll just show you that real quick. And that's the red. Now let's go put them on the window, and then we'll come back and finish around the house. And my windows are done. So let me show you what we have. I have C9 bulbs that I just used the side clips and clip them in along the window trim right here. Works really well. This is a red Tru-Tone, white, and then I have a custom cable that goes from this window, the end, and runs all the way along the bottom to this window over here, and it does the same thing. And these are connected to the center of the house, and they will be on from dusk until dawn. One thing I did add is rubber sockets, and I have them all around this window except for at the top. I had an issue if I put rubber sockets at the top, but I'll show you that in a minute. But these all have rubber sockets to keep water from getting into these socket holders. Around the house, I have these Jeweltone bulbs, and they are using these ground stakes that I really like. So the bulb just connects right into the top, and then I can push it in, and it looks really nice. So now that I have the rest of my bulbs, I'm going to come do all the way over here where I ran out and finish it up. So now that the whole base around the house is done, I'm going to come show you the top window that I have that I haven't been able to reach. It's all the way up here. It's too high for me to really get to put lights around. So what I did is I went up there and built a custom board, and let me go show you that. So here is my upstairs window, and as you can see outside, it's just too high for me to be able to reach. So what I did is I took some 2x4s and I built a wood frame that goes around my window, and I glued some C9 light sockets, and I put them exactly where I wanted them so that they're not in the way of these crossbars. I custom made this whole thing. This was just a wire that I used, and I put every single light socket exactly where I wanted. So I'll put a link up in the corner about how I did this. I did this last year, but then I could just come set this in the window and it's all set and ready to go. And right here I have one of my candles. They're Vermont 411 or something, I think. I really like these. These plug in, so it's plugged in to the end of the wire right here with this USB plug, and it has this flickering effect. But that is the window up high and how I put lights without having to climb around outside. And these are the lights that I'm using on this tree. These are Tru-Tone. These are the Jeweltone blue. These are ones that they were selling at a little bit of a blue light discount, they said, because they were not painted the right way. I used these last year. They did fade a little bit, as you can see. I did get them on a discount from their website, so I can't really complain, and they kind of said that's what they expected to happen. And then I'm using an incandescent twinkle bulb, because that's the only twinkle bulb I find that really works well with the Jeweltone. And this was just from like Christmas lights, etc. And as you can see, they completely faded. So these ones were basically one season if I wanted blue, but my tree is blue with white little strobes on it, so I don't think this will look too bad. There's basically just white. And then I added a pack of cobalt blue that I had. So these are gonna be a lot darker. I don't know if they still make the cobalt blue. These are from last year. These might have been like end of the season too, I don't remember. So they had some blue changes colors, but that's why I'm using this. So these are the 3 lights that I'm using. And right here I have a long pole that you're supposed to use to clip clips to gutters, and they have specific clips, but honestly I found this to be completely useless, because if you can't reach the gutter, you can't put the next clip in to put it up. It works well for hanging up Christmas lights in a tree, but that's all I use it for anymore. So I found an issue with my bulbs that are hanging upside down. I have these rubber gaskets, and on some of them, the rubber gaskets are protecting water from getting out. See, look, if you look on this, there's a whole bunch of water that's getting collected behind the rubber gasket. So what I'm going to do is take off the rubber gasket on the bulbs that are hanging down like this so that they have a chance to dry out. So I've already taken off a few, and putting them back in. Probably should turn the power off. Let's see if not all of them have water behind it. Oh, almost dropped it. That one has a little bit, it's not too bad. I caught it. But on the ones on the side, I think I'll leave. I think these are probably fine and not getting any water in there. We'll check. No, that's good. So just the ones along the top, I'm going through and removing the rubber gasket and putting the bulbs back in the right way. All right, now we're gonna take off our holiday lights, and we're gonna use some Classicolor red and some Candle Glow clear, and it's getting cold a couple days later, so I try to get done before it's cold. But let's switch these out, and we'll come right back, and we'll be done. And this is how I put the lights around my steps. I just use zip ties. I have white zip ties for this. Put it around. Then it holds this light bulb exactly straight and exactly how I want it, so it looks nice and neat, looks nice and clean. Then I can come back with my clippers and clip off the end, and we are all set. And we are all done, so let's do a real quick run through of all the lights that we put up, and then I'm gonna count how many and see how much wattage and amps we're pulling, and then we'll come back in the dark and we will check it all out. So we ran all of the Jeweltone around the bottom. They go all around the bottom, around to the front. On the window, we have the Classicolor, white and red. So let's check around the top. We have Classicolor red and Classicolor white, and every third red is an incandescent twinkle bulb. So that's covering all the top. And the front, we have the brick where we hot glued C7 to the brick. These are C7 Classicolor red and Classicolor white. Underneath, I didn't show this, but we just have green bushes with Classicolor green and Jeweltone green and incandescent twinkle green to kind of give it a little bit of movement. So those are all the green that we added. On the steps, we have Classicolor red and we have Candle Glow white. So you can see it looks really nice. And I have that on both sides. Around the front, we still have around the Jeweltone around the bottom. We also did the other side. We used tall stakes right here, so they're a little bit taller. They look nice. There's a few of these that need to get fixed. And in the big blue front, we have the cobalt blue, the Jeweltone blue that did fade, and the incandescent blue twinkle lights that are adding a little bit more movement. So try to add some incandescent where I can to make it all just not seem like a static light show. We talked about the garage. We have Jeweltone red and candle glow white with some incandescent bulbs right there. So those are adding a little bit of movement. And around the bottom tree over here, I did put some more red and white. So as you can see, we added a little bit over here. And then in the back, I had one more tree to finish. And back here, I have one more tree with red, teal, purple, and pink. I tried something different back here. There's a lot of lights, but they're connected to this 4-speed controller that's making these lights turn on and off at different times. So hopefully adding a little bit effect. This is a LED light wizard. And so that is making it look pretty cool, and we'll come back and check it out in the dark. So now let's go see how much power these lights are using. So let's look at how much power this is using. I have one 3-outlet plug-in that goes dusk to dawn, and these are on all night. And I did separate them into 3 different strands, so I'm gonna know the full power coming out of each of these, but it's actually split up between these 3. So there's even gonna be less per strand than what my total is that's coming out from up here. So let's plug this in and see where we're at. This is the roof, this is the front steps, this is the front door, this is the front window, and we are about 287 Tru-Tone bulbs and about 20 incandescent bulbs. And we are running at about 205 watts for all of these lights around the top, 109. And so now, so we're under 200 watts, so that's not a lot at all. Let's check our amperage. And we are at 1.6 about for amperage, so not bad at all. So this is about half the lights on the front of the house. So my other cord is doing the large tree and all the lights are on the bottom, and we're running about 370 watts, 384, 376. So still we're not too high. And this is quite a bit of lights on this side. We have 459 Tru-Tone LED bulbs plus about 50 incandescent twinkle bulbs that are about 7 watts a piece, but they're not on at the same time. And my amperage is 3 amps. So we're a little bit higher on the amperage, but this is also a thicker cord and I'm running it into the splitter at the other end. So I'm not running all of that onto these little wires. It's actually split into like 6 wires, everything separate. So it's not actually that much even per wire. So you can split that by probably about 3 for how much amperage we're using. So it's still about 1 amp per wire. So we're still well under my length. Your length determines how many amps you can use. So we're doing pretty good there. And I'm not even going to do the front garage because it's going to be even less than all of these, and that's a whole separate circuit in the house. So we'll say that the circuit that this outlet is plugged into, I'm using both outlets, I'm probably about, let's say 500 watts total for all of the Tru-Tones on the main part of my house. And then upstairs is a whole separate circuit, and then the garage and the other tree is a whole separate circuit. So now we're just going to wait for the evening and we'll do a whole tour of all the lights in the dark. And here we have 808 Tru-Tone bulbs and about 40 to 50 incandescent twinkle bulbs on the house. We finally finished. We started the beginning of November. It is now right after Thanksgiving. So now we're gonna come check everything out. We've got lights around the windows, the top and around the bottom, and the tree over here, and the garage. So let's get closer and let's check everything out. And here we have the front of the house. I really like the green Jeweltone and Classicolor that I have with a little mixture of incandescent twinkle bulbs. I think adding some twinkle bulbs just adds a little bit of movement to the lights. On the bottom we have the Jeweltone. They're a little bit sharper than the Classicolors around the windows and around the roof. I really like the Classicolors around the roof. Maybe someday I would do the bottom the same, but I kind of like that there's a little bit of variety. The tree looks really good. Really bummed that the blue faded faded because the cobalt blue, which is the dark blue, you can see the spots that are dark. It looks a lot better, but that's because the blue faded. It's a very tint blue. It's kind of hard to see. The twinkle lights in the blue look good, but those have also faded. So those are something I would probably change to be blue. I think if the tree was more blue, it would really stand out with the blue, the green, and the red and white all around the house. But the Classicolor looks amazing in my weird giant garage. And then putting some of the twinkle lights in the top are 100% worth it, I think. They're adding a little bit more power, but just having some of the twinkle really adds to the way that the house looks with a little bit extra movement. The steps in the front door really are beautiful. I love that it's just a vintage white glow. It does not have that LED look at all. It's kind of just an orange look. If you look off the reflections, it looks really, really cool. And so it's everything I would have wanted, but the pathway right up to the door has nice lights on it. I really like. And here we have the garage with the Jeweltone around it. I really like the way the Jeweltone looks up against the white of the garage outline. And I think that just looks like a nice, sharp, almost like a candy cane look, because the Classicolor is a little bit more dull in the back, and these are a little bit more brighter, a little bit sharper. And then up top, I have the Classicolor, white and red, with a candle in the middle. But I really like the way this looks. I wish I could get up here. I just don't have a tall enough ladder to get up there, and the roof's just a little too steep for me to climb. And so hopefully someday I can get some lights up there. I'd probably have to pay somebody, but they're just too high for me. I do have some Jeweltone around the bottom here. These are the giant tree with the icicle lights. I put a few Tru-Tone green up in there just because I don't have enough icicle lights, because I can't buy enough because they're just expensive. So the spots that have some green up in the tree, that's just to fill it in. But I like the way the tree looks, but overall it looks really good. Just added some color on the bottom. Everything matches a little bit better this year. I had teal down there last year, but putting everything together with one color just looks amazing. And now let's go check out the side real quick. And here we have the side of the house. All the top is Classicolor and all the bottom is Jeweltone. I don't know if the camera really picks it up well, but the bottom is a little bit brighter, a little bit sharper, and the top definitely has a classic vintage look to it, which I really like. And then on the front we have what was the blue tree, and then the colors come all the way around and some of the green. But I think overall, I really like the way it came out. I like that it's all the same color. It ended up costing me more than I was planning on spending this year, but I think it looks absolutely amazing with all being the one color. And I love some of the little twinkles in there. Never thought they even had twinkle that was opaque, but I was pretty excited to find those. So here's the tree in the backyard that is on the controller. As you can see, I have 4 different colors and there's 25 each. There's 100 light bulbs on this tree, and it changes colors based on what the controller is doing. Right now it's just kind of fade in and out. I can do a different style of movement, but this is what it's set on for now, just to get all the different colors. So we have red, teal, purple, and pink. So these are the Tru-Tone lights that are on all night long on my house. They were on from dusk until dawn. During the beginning part of the night, I have these 2 trees that light up and both ends, and I have some twinkly lights in the middle, but they will turn off about 10 o'clock, and then I just go back to this nice warm glow of the Tru-Tone bulbs. I'm really excited about how it turned out. I love the glow that it just creates. Probably change it up next year. I don't know what I'll do yet, but I really like that everything is consistent with the red and white this year. I had a bunch of different colors last year. Blue around the bottom, multiple color on the top, teal around the tree, and multiple colors around the garage door. But with everything being one color, I think it looks amazing. So I know this video got a little long, but I tried to put everything into one video of the whole setup for this year. So thank you everybody for watching, and have a happy decorating.